Also, Dallas has the largest model train exhibit. And this is a 2-story model train exhibit, which can be seen in the lobby at Children's Medical Center, in case you ever want to go and take a look at it. I'll draw your attention now to our agenda. We've got several changes. Our timer tonight is Rob Giles. Osterbell is Kim Crandall. Let's see, and our grammarian is Tyler Madden. Also filling in tonight for our general evaluator is Mr. Mark Sims. So right now, I'll ask for each of you the duty holders to tell us about describe your duties. And Rob Giles as timer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. As your timer, I'm here to help everybody to stay within a specific time frame when they're up here speaking. We have a prepared speech, which I will be showing for our prepared speaker, who is actually, he's right here. I thought he was online, but he's right here. And for that, it's 4 to 6 minutes. It's an icebreaker. So when he reaches 4 minutes, I will show the green card. When he gets to 5 minutes, I will show the yellow card. When he gets to 6 minutes, I show the red card, at which point you have 30 seconds to wrap up in order to qualify for Best Speaker. You can go under by 30 seconds. If you go below 3 minutes and 30 seconds, then you would not meet time. As for other portions of our meeting that we have, which are timed, is going to be our table topics, which is going to be 1 to 2 minutes. Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Why does the red card say right?
Oh, that's a good point. There you go. That was one of our words of the day at one point. So the next portion is table topics. It's the improv portion of our meeting. And for that, the timing is 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I will show a green card. At 1.5 minutes, a yellow card. And then at 2 minutes, a red card. You do need to reach 1 minute in order to qualify. Once you get the red card, you do have 30 seconds. You can stay qualified. If you go over 2 minutes and 30 seconds, then you are disqualified and you can't win Best Table Topic Speaker. The last one is our evaluator. And the evaluator evaluates the prepared speech. For the evaluation portion or the evaluator, you're going to have 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, you get the green card. At 2.5 minutes, you get the yellow card. And then at 3 minutes, you get the red card, at which point you do have 30 seconds to wrap up. If you do go under 30 seconds under the time, so if you reach 1 minute and 30 seconds, you're still qualified. If you don't quite reach that, then you're not qualified to win the Best Evaluator. That's my role, and I will give times as called upon throughout the meeting. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Our next duty holder tonight is Kim Crandall, who will be taking care of our posture bill for us tonight.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I will be observing and reporting on body language, posture. If you hear that, think about what you're doing. I will not do the bell during the prepared speech, but the rest of the time, and I will give a report. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Our next duty holder is Lisa Mitchell, who will be our op counter tonight.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. My duty as op counter is to keep track of common words such as ums and ands and so on. I will keep track of these words with the clicker. Let me turn around. When you hear that sound, you will be notified that you have used those words. Again, I will keep track of those with the sound, and then I will not use this sound during the prepared speeches, and I will give a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
And our vote counter tonight is Mark Schroeder.
All right, tonight I will be the vote counter, which means that my job is going to be to count the votes. Now, we don't have a whole lot of contests tonight that are contested. We have Basically, it's going to be the table topics and the best of the big three. We only have one speaker and one evaluator, so there will not be a vote for those. My job is to tally the votes. Everybody here, including guests, we would appreciate it if you would vote as well, because you hear everything that's going on during the meeting as well. We are sadly just over 10 people, which means I can no longer use just my fingers. I'll either have to use toes or go to the calculator. I personally will not cast a vote unless I have to break a tie. If I do have to break a tie, I will not tell you that I did, because then you know that who exactly I voted for. So I will be quiet if there is a tie. But that's going to be my job. Expect 2 votes, one for, again, the best table topics and one for best of the big three toward the end of the meeting.
And our grammarian tonight is Tyler Madden, and he's online. Tyler, go ahead and give us your duty report.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. As the grammarian tonight, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers and listen carefully to their language. I'll take note of any egregious misuses of the English language, as well as any luminous uses. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is kibosh. And kibosh means, one second, let me pull it up. Kibosh refers to something that serves as a check or a stop. It is usually used in the phrase, put the kibosh on. An example of using the word is, the rain put the kibosh on the 4th of July fireworks display. Each of the speakers is encouraged to use the word of the day. In order to qualify for best table topic, you must use the word of the day in the response to your question. I will give a word of the day report and grammatical usage report when called upon at the end of the meeting. Thank you. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
One of the things that I found out, and okay, am I on now? This way? Okay. One of the things I found out in researching Dallas trivia is that the largest cowboy that we have is actually Big Tex, who's 52 feet tall. So he's the largest cowboy here in Dallas. Also, the Dallas Cowboys used to be called the Steers instead of the Cowboys. And then we have, at this point in time, we have our prepared speaker. And tonight we have Levi Joe. His title is, his speech is, his evaluator is Dagan Newland. So Dagan, go ahead and tell us the purpose of his speech.
Basically, Levi is giving his icebreaker tonight, so it's the very first speech that speaker gives when they first join Toastmasters. Actually, a new project they get also has an icebreaker too. But anyway, we're gonna get to know. It basically is to get to know how well he speaks and his current rate. So we're gonna get to know that and maybe get a little know about himself. Depending on, it's up to him about what he wants to speak about tonight, but. We'll see that, but overall, it's to get to know how well he speaks at the current, he is.
Tonight we have Levi Joe, Overcoming Challenges. Levi Joe.
All right, thank you guys. My name is Levi Job. My name is Levi Job, and thank you guys for letting me speak to you today. So today is my icebreaker speech, and what that means is my goal is to basically kind of lay a foundation of where my speaking skills are right now, and also just introduce myself and get to know you guys a little bit better. Also, want to thank Mark for introducing me to the group. I reached out and he gave me a call and convinced me to come to a meeting. So here I am. So thank you very much. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised here in Dallas, Texas. I went to school at Texas A&M University, where I graduated in 2020. I currently live with 2.5 men. I have 2 high school buddies and 1 dog. So don't worry. I also work as a banker. So if you have any type of greedy baker jokes, please let me know now. Get them out while you can. For hobbies, I like to read. As a kid, I actually was a really big bookworm. I read all the Harry Potter books, Chronicles of Narnia, you name it. That's what I did as a kid. Fortunately, in high school, kind of dropped that habit, but since then, I've been trying to pick it back up. Try to read at least 2 minutes a day whenever I can. Sometimes it always happen, but when I can, I try to read. Second, I also like to work out. I find it's pretty important to maintain my health and just kind of keep in shape and also just help the quality of life. Maybe surprising to you, but at one point, I actually was a little bit chubbier as a kid. And so coming from that, I want to make sure that I maintain my health and kind of just make sure I stay in shape and work out a few times a week. And lastly, I enjoy walking my dog. It's nice coming home from work, relaxing, changing, going outside, and just walking for a nice hour. I put on an audiobook, some podcasts. I just find it a nice way to kind of distress. Now, why did I join Toastmasters? Like some of you, at one point in your life, public speaking was a challenge. And for me as a kid, I grew up with a stutter. With a stutter inherently comes a fear of public speaking. I'll give you a good story and a good example of what I mean by that. One of my worst public speaking moments happened to me when I was a freshman in college. We had a group project. At this time, I was in engineering school, freshman year, 18 years old, full of energy, and a group project. And at the end of the project, we had a presentation to do. And so we did. There's 4 of us in a group, and each person would present and then be evaluated on the spot. So remember, I was third in line. First person goes, a little bit nervous, nothing too bad, but at that point, I've been practicing my speech, thought I was ready to go, should be fine. He goes, evaluated. Second person goes, a little bit more nervous, a little bit more worried. He's evaluated, and then now it's my turn. I remember I just locked up. A wave of nervousness just came over me, and I was scared. And so I started speaking. I was speaking so fast, I turned an essay into 30 seconds. It was very impressive. I remember when I got done, thought I did, at the point I memorized my speech, got it over with. I was like, thank God it's over with. I looked up, looked around, looked at my teacher, and he was just shocked. Looked around the classroom, saw a few smiles, saw a few snickers. I thought, wow, I really messed up. At that point, as a very experienced 18-year-old, I thought my career was done for. I can't come back from this. I'm over for. While it's a little bit extreme, I knew that I had a challenge to face, and that challenge was public speaking. Because of that, I joined Toastmasters. Coming out of college, I feel that for me, it's a skill I want to develop is public speaking. Recently, I also moved into more of a sales development role. So that means going out, meeting new clients, working with current customers, making proposals, and also just building a general network of professionals. So having public speaking skills, in my opinion, is very important to be successful in that role. Also, looking towards the future, I want to be a leader at some point. For me, I really enjoy helping others and teaching people the ropes. Right now, I actually have a few analysts underneath me, and I really enjoy helping them understand what we do and help them progress throughout their careers. I feel being a leader, it's important to have the passion of learning, being willing to teach, and also public speaking. Because of that, I feel it's very important to overcome that challenge. In conclusion, though, the main reason why I joined Toastmasters is because I enjoy a nice challenge. It's always fun to attack something, learn. It's not always easy. At some points, embarrassing. It's also not supposed to be, I guess, you also can't be complacent with your learning as well. So for me, becoming a public speaker is the key to becoming a good leader and also becoming proficient in my craft. Thank you guys. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Levi. A few more tidbits about Dallas. Dallas-Fort Worth is the largest landlocked metropolitan area in the country. We also have, there are only 4 animals that were in the Dallas Zoo when the zoo began many, many years ago. And also, we also have the nation's largest urban arts district at 68 acres downtown. which includes the Dallas Symphony Orchestra, Dallas Theater Center, Morton Meyerson Symphony Center, National Sculpture Center. I don't want to put the kibosh on us practicing our speaking skills, and we have the next part of our program, which is our off-the-cuff table topics portion, which will be led by Mr. John Vissels. I am remiss in not asking for a timer's report, so how did our speaker do?
Levi qualified on time, 4 minutes and 32 seconds.
Thank you, John.
Well, good evening, everybody. I am the table topic host tonight, and the table topics master's job is to hit you up with a question, make you come up here and answer it. You have 2 minutes to answer. You must be 1 minute, must not exceed 2.5 minutes. This gives us the ability or to practice off-the-cuff speaking, that socializing speech. Your boss asks you, what do you want to do in 5 years, which is the absolute question I hate the worst. I want to be retired and rich. How's that? My pat answer. They always just look at me, okay, fine, whatever. But that's what we do in tabletop. We want you to practice off-the-cuff speaking, to be able to speak and not get all tangled up and just go with the flow. So the other thing that we have to do during table topics to qualify for award is to use the word of the day. Another word of the day is kibosh, which means put a stop to something, basically. So now we're going to go with our first person, and we're going to go with Kim. We've been hearing a lot about Dallas trivia and everything and about Dallas. So what is your favorite thing about Dallas?
Thank you, Mr. Tabletop's Master. I'm not a Texas native, I'm not a Dallas native, but I have learned that Dallas was not supposed to be a city. And you can tell pretty much because of the layout, everything's spread out quite everywhere. It was actually a stopping point for trains coming up south, north, Howell, and everything else. So the point that Dallas is even a city is pretty amazing. Other than that, think about all the Six Flags of Texas, the fact that Texas has thought about and tried to be an independent country, the fact that we have a history with the forming of the country, the Alamo. So Dallas and Texas has a lot of history. That's my answer, Mr. Tabletop's Master.
Thank you, Kim. Now, I've lived in Dallas since 94, 92, somewhere there. It's been a while now, but I'm not originally from here. I am from Texas, so I am Texas born and bred, not like somebody. Rob. So anyway, Rob, I lived in Dallas a long time, and I never do any of the kind of touristy things. You know, a lot of times we don't do those kind of things that we do and see all the touristy things until somebody comes into town that they want to see this. They want to see that. Well, where's that? What can we do? Where do they always want to go, and where do you take them when you have family or friends visit?
Mr. Topic Master, I want to say this first, is that, and this is quoting Lyle Lovett, that's right, you're not from Texas, but Texas wants you anyway. So that's what I take in, and when I came to Texas, and why I'm still here. I love Texas. As far as people coming to visit me, well, it seems like I put the kibosh on that because I haven't had a whole lot of people come visit me. And I've been here a long time. I've had family come and visit me, but only when I was in dire straits, in the hospital, with not many family members around. So that's when they come to visit me. So maybe that's what I need to do more often. However, it makes it difficult to go see an actual tourist attraction. However, what I have done is put together a list of places I would at least offer them to go. One of them being the Reunion Tower. And I think that's a fantastic place to be, especially when sunset is coming in. So right in the late evening, you have sunset, you can look out. You might even think that you can see Fort Worth, but it's an incredible sight, just looking all around Dallas, especially when the lights are starting to come up. It's perfect, and I think it would be perfect for any visitors that came to be a tourist in Dallas. So although I haven't had many come, and I haven't had a chance to be the tour guide, I do look forward to that coming in the future, and I have a plan. Back to you, Mr.
Thank you, Rob. The very first time my parents came up here, they wanted to go see the grassy knoll. So I took them, showed them the grassy knoll. It's like, look fast, because we're not going to be able to stop. You go up the hill and down the hill, and you're done. So, I mean, everybody that come to visit, they always want to be taken somewhere, and I got a lot of family. So, that being said, have you ever been to the state fair and seen Big Tex lift a 52-foot tall cowboy beside?
So this is actually a good question for me. So for the state fair, I take my nephew every year. So the COVID put the kibosh on that. So it was very unfortunate that we were not able to go during COVID times. It was very upsetting because he is turning into a teenager. So our times of being able to go to the fair together are very limited because I know that it is going to be where it becomes not cool to hang out with your aunt, and he's going to want to go with his friends and spend time with his girlfriend and friends, and I'm going to be kind of left beside. I ask him all the time if we're going to go to the fair, and he always tells me yes, but I'm kind of thinking that he's going to break my heart and tell me no. So I'm okay with that. So, but the state fair is near and dear to my heart because we spent a lot of time just going and hanging out as a family. We take the train. You don't try to park there because it's expensive. So you take the train and you just go and have a good time, eat a corny dog. So that is my take on the state fair. Thank you.
Let's go with, would y'all like to try one? Huh? Okay, cool, come on up. What's your name?
Adrian.
Adrian? John, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, I don't know if you're from Dallas or not, but what brought you to Dallas? And do you want to stay here forever, or do you want to go someplace else?
So, John, I'm not from Dallas. I actually just moved to Dallas in February of this year from Memphis. I have family here that my brother and his wife and my mom and dad stays in Arkansas. So, so far I'm liking Dallas. Lot of sightseeing, lot of restaurants. It's a little expensive because I like to go out and do things, go to bars, go to different restaurants. So I really like it, but I think I may move somewhere else. I have been thinking about moving up north somewhere, maybe New York. or maybe, I don't know, somewhere up north. Also been thinking about moving somewhere, maybe to Charlotte, or maybe to LA. I really like LA. Forgot what that word means.
Stop something.
Huh?
To stop something.
To stop something. So that's why I moved to Dallas, and that's why I like it. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. You got up here and you tried.
Yeah.
And you did more than try, you did it. That's all there is to it. You do it and then you get going. All right. Lauren?
Sure.
Okay. And your name is?
Angelica.
Angelica John. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. So where are you from originally? And what did bring you to Dallas?
So originally I'm from Arlington, so just right down the road from Dallas. And funny enough, I know all of the tourist attractions because they are all in Arlington, in my opinion. Dallas Cowboys Stadium, Six Flags Over Texas, Texas Rangers have their new stadium. I loved it. I loved growing up right in the middle of the action. Then I also went to Texas A&M, class of 2016. And when I graduated, I moved back for work. So I worked at Pandora, the music company, and I was an account manager there. And then my client actually had me go work for them, so I work at an ad agency now. When trying to decide where I wanted to live, I knew Arlington was more in the suburbs, it was farther away from everything. And so I lived there for 2 years. And then I had a very long commute, and I just wanted to put a kibosh to that. I was like, no more, this is not working. So that's how I ended up living here, because I was like totally done with the commute. And that's how I decided to live in Dallas. Thank you.
You gonna take a shot?
I'll do it.
And your name?
Nick.
Nick John, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. When I first moved to Dallas, I didn't know Dallas. I came here to work as a paramedic, and I knew one place, and that was Waxahachie. I grew up there a little bit when I was little. My dad worked for Lone Star Gas. We traveled a lot. So I settled in Waxahachie for the first 6 months. Then I got to know the city and knew where I would like to live and kind of get it. So I don't know, are you from Dallas or did you come?
No, not from Dallas originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you come from Dallas and where did you come from? And where do you would like to live in the city if you had your absolute druthers?
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you, everyone. So again, my name is Nick, for those that don't know my name yet. I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina, but I recently relocated to Dallas about a month ago for my job. I'm actually a solutions architect at Amazon Web Services, so that brought me down here. I'm enjoying it so far. I currently live in the Uptown area, but if I did have any choice of where I could live in the city, it would probably be Highland Park, because that would mean I would have a high net worth. So that would be my answer to that question, but I'm gonna put a kibosh to that because I don't have that fun. I don't have those funds yet. But yep, that's my answer so far. Yep. Yeah, thank you.
So we had a nice big old round of table topics tonight. Got a whole bunch of people in. So now I need a timer's report. Did everybody qualify on time? Except for Nick. I know he didn't talk long enough. I'm sorry.
You know what, you tried, you got up there.
Yeah, you came up and talked. That's all that mattered.
Mr. Topic Master, everybody else qualified on time.
All right, thank
And if
you.
you want to know specifically what time you had, come over and talk to me after the meeting. I'll tell you exactly how long.
All right, thank you. And Ken, No. Taylor.
Yes.
Sorry.
So for the word of the day, I believe that everyone used it except, and I'm sorry, since I'm on Zoom, I may have missed it. I did not hear Kim use the word. And then, sorry, I forgot the name of the first guest. It's kind of hard for me to hear, but I don't believe she used it, but everyone else used it. So that was a good job. That was kind of a weird one.
Thank you,
My
Tyler.
report.
So now I'm going to ask you to vote for who you thought did the best job with table topics this evening. And that is between Kim Crandall. Oh, that's right. She used the word of the day. Sorry. Lisa. Adrian. Sorry, I lost your name. Angelica. And who else was it? Rob. Oh, Mr. Buffalo. Anyway.
And you'll find vote forms on your table, hopefully. If you don't, we'll get you some.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you all, my guests especially, for coming up and doing your table topics. Thank you very much. And now I'll go ahead and we're going to move on to the next portion of our meeting, which is the evaluation portion. And our GE for tonight is Mark Sims.
Thank you, Mark. In this part of the meeting, we hear evaluations on several different subjects. We'll hear a speech evaluation. We will hear reports from several of the duty holders, and then I'll give some thoughts on how the meeting went. So we're going to start off with our speech evaluation. And Levi is being evaluated by Dagan Newland. So please help me welcome Dagan Newland.
All right, thank you, Mark. So I'm evaluating Levi's speech tonight. So first I want to say, great job for doing your icebreaker tonight. And I'm going to evaluate you 3, 2, 1, 3 things I like, a couple things to improve on, and 1 thing I really like. So first thing is that you made through your icebreaker, your first speech. So that's really great. You know, you got up here, got through it, and you did a really good job. Next thing I'll say is the overall flow of the speech was good. You know, you had your 3 points. You talked about a little bit about yourself, then why you joined Toastmasters, and the third part is what Toastmasters are going to help you with, you know, become a leader and all that kind of stuff. The third thing is, I like to, you know, your first speech up here, you did, you know, look around the room a bit, you know, you don't, because a lot of times when I see the first speaker up here, just like stare at one spot, but you actually looked around, and so that's good, you know, good eye movement. So that was really good for a first time speaker up here. And I kind of, you know, go along with your speech, because you talked about stuttering, and I started it when I was a kid too, and I did well go. So I still occasionally stutter every now and then, and sometimes I just lose total thought of my concentration, and I forget what I want to say. Like when I first came here to talk about my evaluation, I kind of just lost the train of thought and just kind of rambling on up here. So I relate with your speech. So something to improve on is we first got up here. You say the purpose of your speech. You don't really have to state the purpose of your speech because that's basically what the evaluator does before we get up here. So just get right into your speech. The next thing you probably work on is the opening. The rest of your speech was really good. You had your 3 points and your conclusion, but the opening I felt could be a little bit stronger. Kind of talk more about what you're going to talk about in your speech. And overall, it's just a really great speech. You know, the longer you were up here, the more comfortable you felt. You looked good way up here, good stage presence, and we got to know a little bit about you. So that's really good in the icebreaker. So really great speech. Back to you, doing Evaluator.
Thank you, Dagan. And Rob, can you give us a timer's report?
Yes, Dagan qualified on time with 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
That sounds great. Now, we actually don't have to vote for the best speech evaluator since we only had one. But since Dagan qualified on time, then he obviously wins in that category. What we want to do now is hear from several of the people that had various roles during the meeting. One of them is our posture bell duty holder, Kim Crandall. Kim, please give your report.
You did hear the bell tonight. One of the first things that is a challenge is what do you do with your hands? People find it hard to know what to do with their hands. So you want to start out maybe with a neutral stance, hands to the side, so that you prepare to gesture. I noticed finger play and clasping, so that's what I was dinging the bell for. Levi, you did a great job tonight. You have some very good purposeful gestures. I did not see anything distracting. I would encourage you to maybe try to make your gestures even more expansive. I want to commend Rob and Megan both for gestures tonight. Very expansive and varied gestures. So great job on that. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you. Our next duty holder who's going to give a report is our counter, Lisa Mitchell.
So I didn't hear a lot of ums and ahs tonight. What got everybody tonight was so's. So there was a lot. John, you had a couple of so's. Rob, I know I had a couple of so's in my table topics. I caught myself doing it. I think I've replaced the ums and ahs with so's. So I've realized I'm doing that, so I need to watch that. And I want to say to the guests, I'm really impressed that all of y'all got up here and did table topics. I know it is very nerve-wracking, so I think all of y'all did a wonderful and awesome job. So thanks.
Our next duty holder to give a report is our grammarian, Tyler Madden. Tyler.
Yeah, sorry, I think I may have given the report earlier, but the word of the day was kibosh, and I believe that I heard everyone use it, except I'm not sure if I heard Kim use it. And again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm on Zoom, so I may have missed it, and I apologize for that. But I don't believe I heard Kim use it, but everyone else used it, so that was good.
Did you notice anything unusual or any?
Oh, good phrases and.
Phrases, yeah.
No, I thought everyone did a pretty good job. I thought Levi gave an excellent first speech. I guess I should have been listening more for good uses of the English language. I feel like everyone spoke well today, and I enjoyed. I guess so. That's a yes. Everyone used the English language very well, and I enjoyed, hearing all of the anecdotes about people's experiences in Dallas, Texas. So,
thank you, Alex. Just some thoughts that I have about the meeting is a lot of what causes a good meeting, and this is a good smooth meeting, is work done in the middle of the week and maybe behind the scenes. I noted that we got pretty good confirmations during the week on the persons that were going to either be able to make it here or not make it here tonight. Now, as is not that unusual, there were some last minute cancellations that we had to adjust to. We adjusted to that very smoothly. I noted the setup for the Zoom was very smooth. Obviously, you guys have got a lot of experience at it now, but I've seen it before where it was more difficult. And again, tonight, that seemed very smooth. We're always pleased to have guests. Additionally, that makes the meeting more special. Obviously, a source for future members, so that's very much appreciated, you showing up. And it's always good to have an icebreaker and a speech. And Levi, you touched upon some occasional challenges in public speaking. And I would say most every person that comes to Toastmasters can relate to that. I've heard a few people say, oh, I don't have a problem with that, but they just want to come here for social reasons or maybe enhance leadership skills. But most every one of us, I believe, can relate to getting up and being maybe a little bit nervous or a little bit frazzled when you're trying to speak to a group of people. So definitely we get that. So thank you for your icebreaker. And let's see, the table topics portion of the meeting was very good. Obviously, the questions pretty well tied in with tonight's theme. And as always, or once has been said before by Lisa, that it's great to have the guests participate in table topics. Because it's not always easy, because you're wondering what in the world are these people doing coming up here? What are they talking about? But you mixed in very well with that. And then I think Dagan's evaluation was good, had very good incisive points. So overall, I think it was a good, smooth meeting. It would have been great if we would have had an additional speaker, but we had an icebreaker, and again, that is always special. At this time, we want to take a vote for what we call the best of the big three. And the big three, you can choose from between either our Toastmaster tonight, who is Karen Lee, our table topics master, who is John Vessels, or I'm Mark, and I was the general evaluator. So you can choose between one of us, cast your ballots, please put it in the blue cups, and Mark will come by and pick it up. And while you're doing that, we'll head to the business portion of our meeting, and that's going to be led by our Vice President of Education, Rob Giles.
Thank you very much, Mark. This is the business portion of the meeting, and we discuss any old news, new news regarding our club and Toastmasters. There is some general news for not just us, but for Toastmasters International and Toastmasters in general. And that's that currently they are doing some upgrades on the website, toastmasters.org. And you may not be able to log in right now. You may not be able to go to your path, but that should be resolved by the end of Sunday, I think, at the very latest. Maybe the beginning of Monday, the 23rd, you should be okay to get back in there. There's going to be some great upgrades within there as well. Beyond that, I want to mention that when we had our spring conference for our district not too long ago, there was a realignment, and this happens every year for clubs and areas and divisions. So basically we have our club, we're part of an area, that area is part of a division, and that division is part of the district. So the district goes through and decides, all right, do we need to move one club to another area, one area maybe to another division, reorganize things so that either the clubs are more proximity driven or if there's some other reason. And with a couple of factors that had played out over the last couple of years, mostly due to the pandemic, was that a lot of members left, whether that was Zoom burnout, whether that was just not wanting to participate unless you were in person. It could have been a few of those things. And then obviously life changed incredibly in a lot of different ways. So a lot of membership loss, which meant that some clubs had to actually stop meeting. And so those clubs went away and they haven't come back yet. So because we had the loss of that, we had to actually consolidate. And our district got rid of one of the divisions, division that known to Toastmasters as the division, or as people in our district know them as Vista division, which was a strong division. But because they were realigning everything, they moved a lot of the clubs that were in that division to some of the other divisions as they realigned. And they tried to make everything a little bit more geographical, considering that we're coming out of the pandemic, more people are meeting in person as opposed to just on Zoom or through hybrid. So they realigned everything. So how does that affect us? Well, as an individual, not too much, unless you're going to start to branch out beyond our club. But as a club, it's somewhat important. Our club was in an area called Area 33, and we still are. But the Toastmasters year starts again on July 1st, and at that point, we will no longer be in Area 33. we will be in Area 51. And Area 51, right now, we are in Area 33, part of Metro Division. But when July 1st comes around, we'll be in Area 51, which is part of Southern Division. And there are a certain amount of clubs in each area. We're going to actually have another sister club from Area 33 that's going to be joining us in Area 51. And we're fortunate to do so because we get to keep some of the people that we're familiar with, at least that some of us have seen and have known over the past years. And that is Dallas ISD Talk It Up Toastmasters. So some change, which is good. It challenges us, makes us stretch and grow, not just as individuals, as a club, as a district, but also it is an opportunity for us to move on, for us specifically, into another area with another club that we have some people we're familiar with them. So it's, there's some things that we have to overcome, some challenges, and other things that we can kind of hang on to. But that's one of the things that happened over our conference and our business meeting, is that there was a realignment, and that's what the results, as far as our club was concerned, ended up being. Down the road, if we get more members, get more people into our district, get more clubs started back up, then perhaps the Vista division will reemerge down the road. But as of right now, that's where we are. Each area and each division are a little bit stronger because we have active clubs in each of those now. And it's a good thing for the time being. The only other thing that I want to mention is that we have, well, two things, is that we have officer elections coming up. And that means every year, let me preface that with, every year at the start of the year, Toastmasters year, which is July 1st, we have officers that are inducted into taking on a role which basically helps the club stay organized, kind of directs the club in certain directions as far as what we need to do to enhance our club, grow, and a few other things as well. And those officer roles, though, every year have an opportunity for somebody new to come in, take on those roles, experience some growth in leadership, and also find out what's going on behind the scenes beyond the meeting itself. And so it's a great opportunity for people to come in, take one of those officer roles. And the officer roles are our secretary, our treasurer, sergeant at arms, and VP of PR, VP of membership, VP of education, and then club president. And if you have any interest in any of those, or if you have an interest in finding out what each of those officer positions entails, you're welcome to come to me and ask me. We have some veteran members who are currently in those roles right now, and they can explain the roles as well. But it is a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to help forge what's coming in the future for our club, and also just to get some experience, maybe a little bit more leadership experience in that regard as well. And you have an idea and can actually network outside of our club at a couple of different times where you get trained as an officer. So that's coming up. We're going to have that election, I believe, in the first week of, I think it's the first week. Does anybody know differently? Is it the second week, first week? I think it's the first week of June. So it's coming up pretty quick. So if you do have any interest, any of our new members that you want to stretch yourselves maybe a little bit more, then come talk to me and we'll throw your hat in the ring, maybe explain to you what each of the officer positions entails. Beyond that officer election, we do have, as you see today, a hybrid meeting where we have both people in person and then also people online. At the beginning of our Toastmasters year, we've decided pretty much that we're going to cease that hybrid action and we're just going to have in person. And we're doing that for a couple of reasons. One, we don't have too much activity as far as being online, and setting everything up, although, as Mark noted, it seemed like it was a little seamless tonight. Sometimes it's not as seamless. And so somebody has to be here, and it's relying upon a couple of specific people being here at the beginning of each meeting, setting things up. So we've decided, starting July 1st and forward, unless something else comes up, another variant of COVID or something else where we have to force to change things up, for the foreseeable future, we're only going to be in person starting on July 1st. I'm going to ask any of our officers if you have any other news or any other input that you might want to bring up at this time regarding our club. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to ask our vote counter to come on up and let us know who the winners are. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Hold off one second. I had said this at the beginning of the meeting, although Angelica was not here at that time, that I was going to ask a couple of questions to our guests. One, what brought you here to Toastmasters, and what did you think of our meeting? So I'm going to ask ladies before gentlemen, and at first I'm going to ask Adrian. Adrian, would you come on up here, tell us what was the impetus, what brought you here to our meeting tonight, and what did you think of our meeting? So come on up.
So brought me to the meeting today is I have a job where it's customer facing, where I talk to clients and customers, and it's a technical role, and the tech part is easy for me. It's just the customer facing part of it where I'm actually talking to my clients and learning about them and what their needs are for the company. So really looking to improve and maybe one day be in a leadership role, maybe management or maybe CPO, you know. So that's what brought me here, and I really enjoyed this meeting tonight and looking forward to coming back.
Thank you so much. One of the things, the main thing I think for people when they come here as far as speaking is overcoming that fear, that nervousness that we talked about and that some of the people talked about. And a lot of that can be alleviated through repetition. Coming here and getting up, whether it's just getting up and giving an invocation at the beginning of the meeting or having a duty holder role, not even necessarily giving a prepared speech, but you work your way through all of that and eventually get to that. So repetition and coming back is a great thing. The next person I'm going to ask to come up is the other lady as our guest, Angelica. Angelica, will you please come up? Tell us. Now, I believe that you were here before as a guest.
Yes.
And so I know that some of this might be repetitious for you, but if you could tell us what brought you here, and then also, what did you think of this meeting tonight?
So, I'm Angelica, and this is my second time being here as a guest. And what brought me here tonight was I really enjoyed the last meeting that I was here for, and I really wanted to get more involved. And now I want to become a member, so I'm really excited about that. Because for me, the thing I struggle with most is those very awkward encounters at the beginning of Zoom meetings where you're just sitting there and there's that dead space. I hate that. And so I want to get better and improve my skills, just, the small talk, the impromptu small talk that happens at the beginning of those Zoom meetings. So that's really what brought me here. And tonight, compared to the last meeting I went to, there are a lot more people here, and there was a lot more interaction, so I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angelica. It's great to hear. Our last guest is the gentleman. Nick, why don't you come on up here and tell us those two things as well?
Well, just want to say I appreciate everybody's hospitality today. Everybody has lent a warm welcome to myself as well as the other guests, so I really appreciate that. Like I said at the beginning when I spoke before, I just moved to Dallas from Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm looking to get into different organizations that can help me improve my skills as a professional and just in general life, just regardless of anything or any of the situations. So really looking forward to just learning from you, your different perspectives and your experiences that you've had so far in the club. Today's meeting was wonderful. Like I said, I appreciate all the support and the hospitality that you've all shown us. So thank you.
What did you think of the meeting?
It was great. It was great. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Nick. Thank you all for coming, and I hope that we see you back again. Next week, as far as I know, next week we will be back down the hall at our normal meeting. Angelico was down there before. That has a stage, so a little different experience. And if you get up on there for table topics, it gives you a little bit more power. So think about that. At this point, let's go ahead and find out who our winners are. Mr. Vote Counter.
Thank you, Rob. I'm going to do one other quick thing while I'm up here, just because. Angelica, I believe we still have your contact information from when you were here in the end of April. I have not seen anything come in from you two yet. I can either help you with the form later if you would like. We are in this room, which is unusual, but we do send out emails when we get bumped out of our room. We don't pay much for that room down there. You know, they can put a party in there for $200-300, which they probably could easily. We get bumped out of it. So we let you know where we're going to be. Or in fact, a couple of weeks ago, we got bumped out of both of them because they had both rooms occupied and we had to go Zoom home. So I'll be happy to help you if we need to go through the form to get your contact information, just so we can let you know where we'll be. All right, so we've got a couple of races that are not contested. We'll do those first. Obviously, best speaker is going to be Levi. Congratulations. Rob is doing the, yeah, you want to do the ribbons, right? Since we're here in person again? Yeah, we ought to do ribbons. I have to admit, I did not get the ribbons, but we'll do ribbons. For the best evaluator, that's going to be Dagan tonight, right? And then we go to our contested races. Our contested races start with table topics. Best table topics tonight goes to Lisa Mitchell. Congratulations. And finally, the best of the big three. Best of the big three is, drum roll please, John Vessels. Congratulations, John. Ribbons will be forthcoming very shortly. That concludes the part of the awards. Rob, do you have anything else that you want to finish up as part of the business meeting?
Yeah, we're good.
You think we're good? All right, so with that, I guess I can close the meeting if I can find where you hit the gavel. There we go. All right, so we will go ahead at that point, unless there's anybody else with any other business or any other announcements, we will go ahead and close the meeting. I'm not going to bang on that table because of the microphone. Meeting adjourned.